I came across Rajan just last Saturday on another Zoom session of our association, which is called as Adventure Tour Operators Association of India. That's where I was introduced to him, and I said, I have to do a session with you. And he immediately kind of agreed to that. Thanks, Rajan.
Oh,
So
you're
welcome on
welcome.
board. Yeah.
Thank you for having me
And
here.
yeah. So Rajan
Uh,
also comes from the travel background.
Milind sir,
He
sorry to
runs
interrupt. Milind sir,
sure.
sorry to interrupt, Kiran. You need to hold your mic a bit closer because people are saying
Okay,
they can't
okay,
hear you.
okay,
Thanks.
okay. I will hold it like this if that works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ellen, can we
Okay. So
record this?
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Ultra. Can I record this?
yeah. You can record, but I don't think you will have the rights. We will share the recording with you later.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So coming back to Rajan, Rajan also comes from the travel business. He runs a company which takes people into outbound tours. The name of his company is Durbin. And he has been in the business for more than 20 years, so quite a veteran, I would say. Uh, has traveled to almost 60 countries and has been on 6 different continents so far. So I think the only continent, Rajan, you have not been is probably Antarctica.
That's why I'm going to speak to you later on, right? How
Okay,
can you
okay.
take me to? Yes.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah. Uh, Rajan, this is like a quick introduction that I could make of you. If you want to add up something, please go ahead and do it.
No, well, you talked enough about me. Hello, everybody. First of all, my name is Rajan Tiwari, a traveler, explorer, and an adventurer guy, right? Been in the profession, as Milind said, more than 2 decades, and traveling, exploring new parts of the world is my passion, is my life. And last two decades, right, traveling in different parts with all modes of transport made me feel that traveling by different modes of transport, when you talk about cars, aeroplanes, what's next, right? And I decided that to what about traveling on foot, and that's where the thought of walking the Ganges came in. So Milind could start, and then I
Yeah,
could answer his
yeah, yeah,
question.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This is a kind of humble request to all my guests. A quick kind of just give an idea on the map from where he started and where he ended up. So as you can see on the map, he started all the way from Gomukh, which is considered to be the source of Ganga, and all the way down to Allahabad, Varanasi, Patna, and eventually down in West Bengal. Okay,
Yeah.
so he crossed almost 5 states, walked for nearly 2,500 kilometers, and it took him 95 days approximately. Yeah. So as you can understand, it is very, very difficult to capture all his experience of that 2,500 kilometers and 95 days and so many places and so many villages in this short 1 hour. Yeah. So, but what we have done is I've kind of picked up some pictures and from which I will kind of ask him to kind of narrate some stories around it. That's what I've decided, apart from some standard list of questions that I'm sure everybody would like to know. So here you go, Rajan. First of all, what made you think of such an idea of walking 2,500 kilometers, which would take more than 3 months, and that too initially in the mountains and then down to the plains?
Firstly, I would think the inspiration, and that is the key, right? The inspiration of walking came and walking the Ganges came to me by Levison Wood. He's a British paratrooper, and I was fortunate to meet him in Cape Town in 2015 at an event, and where he was a speaker, and he talked about his walk called Walking the Nile, which is on Netflix. I think it's one of the National Geographic series, and he was videoed. He was filmed by BBC, so the documentary was done. And when I saw that, it just it was the inspiration that like how could somebody walk like in 4 different countries, walking the Nile, since the Nile is the longest river, right? Which flows all the way from Uganda into Egypt. And the whole concept of it's just like wow, when people, because being in the travel fraternity, you always talk about travel, and we see, like, for us the world is so small. You get on a plane from one place to another place, you could within 24 hours you could be in any part of the world, right? But what about slow travel? And it just kept on coming to my mind, right? How somebody could walk. And in the evening I met him, and I spoke to him about asked him about his experience. And out of a joke, I said, since you have walked the longest river, what about walking the second longest river? And would be quite an adventure for you. So you can walk the Ganges. And so we had a laugh, and probably he was doing some other event. He was doing some other show, which was called Walking the Himalayas, which he did not share with me at that time. And so we just had a laugh. And on the way back to the hotel, I thought to myself that I was born in Varanasi, and the Ganges is a holy river to me. So what about and I always tell people that you don't need money to travel. Sometimes you can even walk and travel. So I like tend to said to myself that I think I should walk the Ganges, right? And I came back to India. I shared this plan with few friends of mine, and that I'm thinking of walking the Ganges River. And people just some friends thought it's a great idea, and thought I could do. Some friends thought I'm crazy, but it took me time to believe that I could do it, and to understand that how could I do it, the whole process. And this is where the inspiration, the idea came, that I'm going to walk the Ganges River, to put it.
So tell me one thing, like what your family members had to say about this?
Well, as I mentioned, for 2 decades, I've been going to different parts of the world, and I've been traveling on myself. So when I shared with my family, especially mothers, they always get anxious, like, oh, well, like, what got into you? Like, why do you want to walk? Why don't you drive? I'm like, so I had to explain the idea of, it's not about driving. The whole idea is about walking and seeing and going to the countryside. They were fine with it. It's just that they always said that you know what you're doing best, and you just need to be safe. And yeah, I think so. They've been very supportive in that fashion, and also giving me like yeah, you just they it was hard for them, not hard as like when they heard that I'm going for a walk for 3-4 months, and during the monsoon, and I'm going to walk through villages. And so sometimes they get with the safety thing, we're going to eat, we're going to sleep. So that was the basic concern. Gave them a full, this is what I'm been doing and I'll be fine. They were okay with that. Yeah.
So what about the preparation? Because I can see you have shared this slide with me, but
Hmm.
you were completely independent, right? There was no backup. There were no kind of nothing with you that is as a backup vehicle, I would say, or anything of that sort. So you carried everything in the
Well,
backpack and went out.
well, I'm sure everybody sees, right? I had all the basic necessity what I have, what do you need while walking. So I had my first aid kit, I had my sleeping bag, I had all whatever the basic requirements in my bag. And I think so I did not need any car, right, to follow me up, because whatever, I was walking and I had all the equipment I need in my backpack. So, and it was easy. So you need to go with my flow, right? And yeah, it was just and I wanted to be as light as I could be, because I knew that I have to carry everything on my shoulders. So I had, first of all, I had to have a good backpack which could hold everything. And then some friends helped me with basic, because this was my first walking trip, like, and even for that long. So there were people, friends, and who told me, you need to carry this, you need to carry that, right? And so it was few friends who got all this stuff together for me. And before I left, I thought it's a great thing that I should have a picture that whatever I have in my backpack. So yes,
So what
and
was
no,
the
I did not
final
have
weight?
any people. With on the first day when I had my sleeping bag, no, I had a tent with me. It was
Mhm.
17 kilos, right? And when I started to walk from Gangotri, I realized that I don't need a sleeping bag, because I wouldn't have the time to pitch up my tent every evening and to fold it and put it back together. So I thought, no way, I'm not getting the sleeping bag. So I gave it away. So my bag at the end without the tent was 14 and a half, 15 kilos.
Oh, well, that's quite a bit, though. When you're
Yeah, and
walking
then in the
20,
beginning
25
as well.
kilometers, it's quite a bit. Yeah.
Yes, it was heavy in the beginning, but it became. I got used to it, and by the end of trip, it was my companion on the way. You could say, right?
Yeah. So, Rajan, this is the famous, I think, Gangotri temple, right?
Yes, this is the temple.
Yeah.
Yes,
So you kind of started off from Gangotri and then you had to trek up to Gomukh.
yes. So we could drive all the till Gangotri, and from Gangotri you trek to Gomukh, and which is around 22-25 kilometers, and then you come to a place called Bhojwasa, where you
Yeah.
camp for a night, because I wanted to start my walk from the snout, from the opening where the source is, right? So I camped a night in Bhojwasa, and then this is where the snout is. This is the opening of the river, and it's called Bhagirathi, from in the opening where the river opens up, and that's another 3 to 4 kilometers ahead of Bhojwasa. And on the 23rd of July, yes, that's when I started my walk from Bhojwasa and walked all the way to Gangotri on the first day. Yeah.
So whether you were fortunate with the weather when you were up in the mountains, or it rained and the weather was
Oh,
good.
the weather, I think so. In some spot it did rain, but the weather was absolutely brilliant. It was special. Yeah, I would say it. The whole surrounding, clear blue sky. Sometimes the cloud would come in. I did not face rain. Well, there would not rain much, but it would just get cloudy at times. But just a wonderful weather, a perfect weather to walk, right? And that time of the year.
Uh, I have personally been to Gomukh and Kapon area a couple of times, and looking at this picture of which you have taken, I
Hmm.
have seen kind of a lot of sadhus and sannyasis taking a bath at Gomukh. Okay, so
Well, sorry, yeah, but
did you start with the holy bath?
no, it was too cold. It was freezing. These were brave people, right? And I didn't know about them. I knew about, okay, so this is again a kind of a religious walk what a lot of people in North India do. These guys are called Kawadiyas,
Mhm.
who walk to the river source and collect water, Ganges water, and they walk back to their respective villages or city where they come from. And I was not aware that I could find these people on the way. So for
Yeah.
me, till for 50, 100 kilometers, they were my companion on the way. So Kavadiyas, they every year they go and they, of course, they have to bathe and get a bottle of, like, fill 2 pots of water, like a little bit of Ganges water, so that they could get the water back to their houses and bathe Lord Shiva's idol, or the Shivling with it. I'm not too religious, but yeah, something to do. It's a religious thing, and every year that's what lot of people from state like Haryana, UP, and Rajasthan, they go for this religious walk.
So, just for, I think, just for the people who are probably never been to Tapovan or Gomukh, the peaks that you can see in the background are Bhagirathi peaks.
Yeah, there are
From
3 days called
where, yeah, from where you get the name to the river as Bhagirathi. Original, there is a kind of link in mythology, but these peaks are also called as Bhagirathi peaks. Yeah. Uh, so when you started from kind of Gomukh, you came down to Gangotri, yeah,
yeah.
and then further down, where is this?
This is a place called Lanka.
Hmm.
It's around 7-8 kilometers when you leave Gangotri,
Yeah.
on the way to Ganga, and I could hear the river roaring, and I thought that's a perfect spot, right, to get. And I was walking by myself, but I could find somebody. I'm like, I don't take my own pictures, right? So I thought, at least I'm doing this walk, so maybe I'll have something to, show people that I was doing it. So I'd ask somebody to, and as I think so you explained me that this is the bridge, right? This is the
Yeah.
uh,
There's a
Taj
bridge near Lanka. Yeah.
Mahal.
Yeah. So one question also pops up: how come you decided to do it alone? Was it by default, or nobody was equally crazy?
You know, when I shared, actually, I couldn't really find a companion who really wanted to walk with me. I would have loved to, I shared with my friend. And because, see, man, 2015 to 2018, it was nearly 3 years before I could start my journey. And in between, every now and then, I kept on sharing my plan with different people, different friends. Now, everybody has their own life and have their own commitment. But at regular intervals, I had friends who came to visit me for a day or two in different parts, which was also a booster for me, right? And they could. So yes, I didn't find anybody, but as I said, there were friends who came and visited me on different part of the journey.
So I'm sure, Rajan, on your way, you must have encountered so many villages, so many people, and things like that en route. So I would kind of, as we go along in this slideshow, I would kind of probably ask you one of questions about them also. Yeah. So where this is typically seems to be an Himalayan terrain. So
Yeah,
for
in
these women,
Uttarakhand. It was in
yeah.
Uttarakhand. If I'm not mistaken, this was somewhere near Koteshwar Dam, which is one of the biggest dam in the country. After Terry, there's another place called Koteshwar Dam. There's another dam which is being built. So it was there. Uh, See, because when I started to walk, I could have taken a shortcut, right? And my walk was all about walking the Ganges, right? So at one point, I had to deviate, right? From Tehri, I had to go towards Devprayag, actually. So, yeah. So on the way, I met these beautiful ladies, hardworking ladies, and they were surprised of me walking from the forest or from the paddy field with a backpack, and they were like, "Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing with the backpack? And where are you lost?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not lost, but I'm just following the Ganges River, and I'm doing this walk." And they were like, "Oh, we are walking the Ganges River." So it was, and it was just the beginning, but they found it very exciting, and I was trying to explain them that how beautiful and the state is, and how beautiful the people are. And they smiled, and then they said, "Okay, you can take our pictures, and you can say that, oh, and you can also show that how beautiful and lovely the women's are as well," right? So I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" And this where I managed to get to.
They're having absolutely kind of pretty faces and smiling all the way.
Oh yes, lovely,
All three of
lovely.
them. Yeah, they must be kind of typically Gadwali looks like
Yeah,
with
yeah,
their
yeah.
attire and everything.
Yes, Gadwali women's right, and very
Everything.
hardworking. And I still,
Yeah.
and I could actually see only women working in the fields out there. It was a monsoon time, so most of the places
Hmm.
you could see only women working in the field, which was that, quite exciting and very hardworking and with all the hard work, but still the smile was so special, right? Yeah, yeah. And with whatever
Absolutely.
they had, they were happy to share with me, some sweets, some food, yeah, and to share their stories and to listen to my story as well, the beginning of my story.
Mhm. Uh, uh, as we go along, I'm sure now where was this?
There's this place called Gagnani, and where you have hot springs, right? So up in the mountains, uh,
I think
uh, Gagnani, right, where you have the hot springs.
yeah.
Yep, and there was a stop where we had, after 3 days of walk, I was pretty, it was pretty tired, and I thought, I'll take a break. So I decided that, I would halt and go and have a dip in the hot springs. So I thought it would be a pool, but it was a tank, and you had a pipe where hot water was just oozing out, and it was nice. And then it felt pretty nice in the mountains with the hot water. It gave my body, relaxed my muscles. So I thought to take a day off, but also it was so exciting to see these beautiful colors, right? Everybody dressed in saffron color, carrying these beautiful, I don't know what you call them, but yeah, cowards, right? Holding the bottles, and everybody being addressed by as bhole, like, because all the people out there in the mountains, whoever saw them would just address them as bhole, right? And like disciple of
So
Lord
they,
Shiva,
Rajan, as I understand, I think these people they carry this water right from Gangotri or up in the mountains
Mount,
all the way back to their villages, which are on the plains.
which
Uh,
are on the plains, yeah.
yeah, because I've rarely seen them, but once or twice I've seen where people they also walk quite a distance with that water,
Oh,
if
they
I'm right.
do. I think so. Yes, I met people who came all the way from Rajasthan. I met people from Haryana and Uttar Pradesh because it's very popular in these states, right? So basically, yeah, people from Rajasthan, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh, right? Yeah, and I would say Western UP, to be more precise.
Yeah. This is
Yeah, this
Devraj.
is actually this is where I had to add extra 90 kilometers for my walk because I'm walking the Ganges, and this is where the Ganges name, because there are two rivers, right? When the river which I started to walk was called Bhagirathi, the stream which flows out from the mount from Gomukh, and this is Alaknanda, which comes from another source, and they meet in Dev Prayag, and that's where the name Ganges comes up. The Ganges, the river Ganges originates, right? It gets its name. So I had to walk from Terry and to take another route to come to Dev Prayag. And if you see the picture, right, you could literally see the two different colors of the river, right? And so Dev
It's a
Prayag, and that's
confluence.
where the Ganges gets its
Yeah.
name, and all the way till West Bengal. Yeah, beautiful,
Wow.
incredible.
Beautiful shot.
Thank you. Oh, incredible! I think so. The morning, the sunrise, the sunsets were absolutely incredible in the mountains.
Was this anywhere close to Perry Dam?
It was actually I had crossed Terry Dam, and there's a place called B Town. B
Okay.
Town. So it was, and I stayed in a hotel, like a basic hotel out there, and I was on the top. From there, it's where I got the shot from. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So from there you would come down to the plains, of course. Now,
Yes.
like
Oh no, still
Haridwar and
another
Rishikesh.
100 kilometers. Yes. Yeah, plains. Yes, that was somewhere in Uttar Pradesh, right? Kids having fun in the river.
Yeah. Now, what I would like to ask you is, ki, you have kind of shared couple of pictures like this with me. Okay.
Yeah.
So what? Even it's something similar. So what made you take these pictures?
There were these pictures are from different parts of the states, right? What was the reason for me to take this picture was about the livelihood of people staying on the banks of the river, right? And how important the river was for them, right? Whether it was for the religious sentiments or for livelihood. Like, the Ganges River provided so many resources to so many different people, right? For kids to have fun in the river, right? For people to go and fish, for local women to go out on the banks of the river to wash utensil, to do their washing up, and also way to socialize, right? So it was a very common sight where you could see every morning, afternoon, the villages, the group of ladies sitting there chit chatting and still carrying on doing their usual chores, right? So again, I think it was a river was so important people life that it also got people together, right? To socialize. And then you see this, if you see the background is a man fishing, right? And that was probably his source of income, right? To fish and sell that in the market, right? So I feel that any river around the globe is and people plays such an important role in humans' life who are settled along the banks of the river.
I think their life revolves around the river, especially in the
Oh
rural
yes,
kind of
yeah,
places.
yeah,
Like
absolutely,
yeah,
yes, yeah.
everything would have to do with something or the other would have to do with the river, as you rightly said.
Yeah, it's just beautiful, and you see people. Oh,
So
yeah,
so
yeah, you have.
where did you come across this guy?
This was in somewhere in UP. So the man, I
Mhm.
was walking with my backpack, and he was on a horseback, and he came to me, and he's like, I saw, and I took a picture of the horse because just the horse looked so beautiful at the guy. And like, oh, so he's like, oh, do you want a ride? I'm like, no. He asked like, why? Where are you going? And I'm like, I'm walking. I'm walking along the river, right, the Ganges River. And he's like, why do you want to walk? You can take you can hitchhike or you can take a bus, right? There are a lot of tempos and the buses on the road. I'm like, no, but it's a walking expedition. It's a walking. I have to walk. So to make it simple, I told him there's a clean Ganga project happening, so I'm working with that. So I have to walk along the banks of the river to make sure to where the water gets contaminated most, so to write my report. And he's like, oh, and he got so excited. He's like, oh, why don't you do one thing? Why don't you just come along with me? I'll give you a ride on my horse. And I'm like, no, but I have to continue walking. I cannot get on a horse or any vehicle. But it was such
So
a beautiful picture, the horse and the
yeah,
man, right? And if it was not in the beginning, but once he heard that I'm walking and I'm walking the Ganges and what I'm planning to do, he just like offered me service, like, okay, I'm happy to take you on my horseback as for a few kilometers, till wherever I could take you. Uh,
I just added up this picture because it's so colorful.
I think, and I tell all my friends and people from the fraternity around the globe that India is when people say India is such a colorful country, right? It's all about colors. It's all about people. It's all about things what you see on the way while walking, while driving, which makes you laugh, right? And look at this color. It's just beautiful. It just makes you feel vibrant. It's just a positive energy what you get. And this is who we are, right? The land of what do people say, snake charmers. No, I tell people, imagine what kind of people live that they could charm a snake, right? So we so yeah, and then the colors of the
Absolutely.
country, and then every 50 kilometers you just walk, you travel, and there's such a change in everything. But again, incredible people, like, incredible colors. Yeah, so I thought it has to be there. And bangles, look at it.
Yeah.
It makes a woman look so beautiful, right, when they wear them.
This
These are
probably is somewhere in Gangotri also, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that was a shop. Yeah,
Because you
near
can
the
see
temple.
all those small ideals and
Yeah, yeah,
beads and things like that.
yeah. Life in colors in India. Yeah.
Yeah. So
These
yeah. You continue. You wanted to say
Yeah,
something?
this pictures, right? This was bunch of kids, right? Where they had this swing made of tires, bicycle tires. If it's not very clear if you zoom in, and to it just tires and they made this beautiful swing, and that was the only means of them to have a little bit of fun. But when I saw them swinging up on the mm, swing, and the laugh and the smile on these little kids, it was priceless, right? So sometimes you think you just don't need a modern game or anything. Kids anywhere could have fun, right? And they can make up things, right? And they can be happy and play, right? Yeah. So
I think I think in the urban setting, I think something like this is just missing right
oh yes, to be
now.
well, we all live in a city, and sometime I'm not against anything, and don't put me wrong for anything. But when I see kids today, right, in the cities, right, I feel that they are really missing out on so many things, right? Where they could be closer to the nature and have more fun, right? And now with all these modern technologies, right? You see a kid, they're all the time on the mobile phones, and there's just a social interaction that playing together. It's just missing,
Mhm. So what was this? Typically a village school or something?
Oh yes, I think so. The government of India had started taken some initiative to start midday meals, right, in the rural areas, providing meals to the kids in the school, right. So yep, that was a midday meal somewhere in Jharkhand. Kids who go to school, right, they're provided by just a decent. So they're strong, and there's some nutritive food for them at school. And I think so. It happens across India right now in most of the government schools, where you get your midday meal. So everybody, it reminded me, like, when in those old movies when you see it in the jail, right? When everybody comes with their mugs and their plates, right? And these kids, not they're not in the jail, but it's like all the small ones, right? And just banging their plates and like, yeah, okay, it's food time, right? So yeah, it was quite exciting to me.
This was some kind of small function happening in the kind of village, or what is it? Because they're
Yep.
all dressed differently, as if they're performing a drama or something of that sort.
No, actually, it was a little ceremony to celebrate a child's birth, like a boy's child's birth, somewhere in Jharkhand. And
Hmm.
there was this eunuch, right? Two eunuchs and a small little band playing. Now I tried to understand the costume, but I couldn't. But the idea was to celebrate a childbirth, right, in the family.
Mhm, mhm.
And probably that was the way for people to come and socialize as well, right? Yeah.
When I saw this picture, Rajan, I thought that I wanted to ask you a question where you had a cricket match there.
No, it was actually the kids were practicing their football game, and that was in West Bengal. And
Mhm.
so I saw them playing, and I was walking, so I thought, maybe I'll just stop for a few minutes, and I had this opportunity of meeting Sunil Chetri few years ago in Odisha. No, like before that, and so I thought maybe let me see if I can check. The boys know who this guy is, so I went and I'm like, all right. So I called the boys together. I'm like, oh, do you know who this guy is? Like, oh, so half of them, oh yeah, that's Sunil Chetri, right? I'm like, yeah. So maybe good eyes, and they were good players. I'm like, yeah, keep it up, and maybe someday, you might be better player. Like you can find your mission. You can achieve something what you want in life and be a good player and follow on his footstep and make your own dreams come true. Just a motivation, right? When you walk, you see kids. Something to share and talk about.
So, Rajan, tell me, what was one thing that you found to be very challenging, or an experience that was extremely challenging or stressed out kind of stuff?
Since Million, when I started to walk, right? Whatever came, I had no challenges. Like every day was something or the other, which was like the first time. Like I remember walking the first day when I got to Gangotri from Gomukha, I had blisters, and
Mhm.
blisters probably as big as like in size of a marble, right? And
Yeah.
that's when I got to know that I need to puncture my blister every night, and you need to band-aid it, right, so that I will be able to walk the next day. So when blisters was the first thing, then when in the mountains, it was lovely, but when I got into the plains, like going out to the washroom was a big challenge, right? Because most of the places there,
Oh.
so the toilet was a big challenge, right? And going and defecating in open was a big challenge, right? And that was again a bit of a challenge. And then when I was in the plain, it was monsoon. So what happens? Most of the fields are filled with water, and there is something growing, so people could not go, and there were not many toilets around in the villages, so people would come and they would go and defecate in the open on the walking track, right? So while
Oh.
walking, you're walking, you see a beautiful surrounding, but sometimes, you see people just defecating in open. That was again challenges. That's where, things kept on going into my mind that, we live in the 21st century, and where are we as like, I think so, these are very basic things what somebody should have, like, a clean toilet, sanitation, and, that's where, question, because when you see, you walk and you experience, then you see, and then you look at the people around you, right? Uh, and then you feel like, I think so they deserve a better livelihood, right?
So tell me, because I'm sure ki when you kind of walked across, you came down to UP, you went to Jharkhand, you went to Bihar, you went to eventually even in West Bengal. So this is a completely, you can say, but that's where India is. I would put it up.
Mm. Yeah,
Not in cities like Bombay and Delhi and
yeah, the
Chennai
countryside
and
of.
Bangalore. Yeah, where metros is not a complete representation of India. I would put it up. Yeah. So, did you see any kind of what was your overall experience with people? And uh, I would say, did you see any poverty, or how would you look at it?
That's a very good question, Milind. I would say that, I don't know, I had traveled in my country, and a lot of people travel in the country. When we think, oh, there is a poverty, there are people who are poor. I saw people, financially weaker section people financially, but I did not see people starving. So and we're talking about UP, Bihar, and Jharkhand, right? Which were one of the poorest states a few decades ago, right? But I did not see any poverty, like people, like, going on like a hunger, right, going hungry, and they don't have, people had, like, they were poor, but it's not that they did not have money to feed themselves, right, they were fine, as in, like, but they had their pride, though they were poor, they were hardworking people, strong people, but yeah, money financially not very strong, we're not poor, but again, spiritually, uh, amazing, lovely people who are ready to always welcome you with a smile on their face. Even they are gentlemen like him. What a beautiful example, right? He's like, he wanted to walk along with me, right? He said, like, I am, and he was like, Baba, I am so impressed that, to what people can even do in your life when you're walking the Ganges. I wish I could walk along with you. And look at his face. Look at just these are the people of real India, right? The
Yeah.
hardworking people, and which are marginalized. Like, they need to be, you know, actually their kids, these families need to be uplifted, right? And given the opportunity, to live a, yeah, respectful life. But still,
Yeah.
again, they were poor, but they were not starving. Like, I did not see anybody starving, honestly, from beginning to the end, right?
So
And people
probably a
were,
lot of hardship around, but
yeah,
they live with dignity. I would put it
dignity,
up.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. To respect them. If they get you to, they invite you to their house, respect them with the same, right? Though you come from the city and you have the money, doesn't really matter. But
So I would have a question with you. Ki, I'm sure ki, during your walk, you must have landed up staying in small villages, in somebody's houses or temples or wherever. So how did you manage all that? The accommodation and the food, both.
the first thing when I
Then go
start,
join that thing again.
No, don't join it again. You're already on. अच्छा अच्छा गयो गयो छोड़.
Hello, please put on mute.
You're already on. You can't join again.
Hello, somebody has. Kiran, can you just check and put on mute?
I've done that. I've done that.
Okay, go ahead.
Milind, when I decided to walk the river Ganges, right? One thing I was very clear in my head, and that's what I tell people, that when people ask me, and I think so, everybody asks me this question, that where would you stay at night? Where would you eat, right? And I told them, and I think the river itself is important, right? And being and with our sentiments and our belief, Ganges is a holy river, right? I was sure that every 15, 20 kilometers, if I walk along the river, I would definitely find a temple or a place, right, where I could just put my bag, because I had my backpack. I could make my bed, I could sleep. So I was clear with that. So I found I had no trouble finding a place to sleep. And while I was crossing through a village, and I thought it's a nice spot, people would come and ask me, and I would tell them I'm walking the Ganges River. They were super happy, like, to invite me to their house, feed me, right? Give me a glass of milk every most of the time. People would give me a glass of milk, that that would be good for your health, right? So I wasn't worried about saying. There was only once or twice where I had bit of a challenge, and this was when I got into the plains from Haridwar. Actually, when I was crossing the border from Uttarakhand into Uttar Pradesh, um, and you cross to Rajaji National Park, and on that road, I couldn't find any place to stay. So I found this little stall right next to the border, and I had a little bench, right? So I slept on that bench. Probably that was the only toughest night I had if I would say, for to sleep, right?
So people in general were very welcoming, kind of stuff. Is it?
Absolutely, I think so. People, amazing. Absolutely, they steal your heart away, right? With whatever little they have, but always happy to invite you. Always happy to listen to your story, and all kind of expressions. I met some different people as well, but I would say majority of them were just amazing people who were happy to share their home, share their bread with me, and share their talk with me.
And what was the drama happening?
Oh, this was a drama happening. Where was this? I think so, somewhere in Bihar, in Munger, right before Munger city.
Mhm.
There was this drama happening about women empowerment and child marriage. And if you really look at the whole thing, there's only one woman in this whole slide, like the picture. There's only this woman, and she was so powerful while she was talking and narrating and talking about. And even the guys, they were great actors. And look at all the men, and they were talking about women empowerment and child marriage. And look at the way everybody's listening, and it was so hilarious and so funny. But yes, and to see that, the information being spread about the social equality between men and
And
women.
Interestingly, Rajan, even in the audience, you can see only men around.
Absolutely, because the women are not allowed. Right? Yeah,
And
I
that
wish they would have
she
learned
seems to be
something.
really a strong woman, and
Yes,
you know,
and
yeah,
maybe I Milind, what I uh there are still those young little kids, right? I think so. If something like that would be embedded in them or taught to them or shared with them at an early age, there could this country would be a different country, like in basic things. And I'm talking about basic civic sense, right? If we teach them at a very early age, like please and thank yous in Europe, in America, when you go to Western world, everybody, like, I'm sure a lot of people have faced, like in India, we don't say please and thank you, but if you go abroad, everybody says please or thank you, or we won't be served, or they look down on you, right? If
yeah.
those little, not please and thank yous, but something of that sort, right? If we teach our kids in the school today, right, about toilets, about things, this honestly, there would be such a drastic change, right? We can talk hours and hours about it, but yeah,
This picture, I'm sure, because it must
oh,
be from your hometown,
yes, that's Varanasi, right?
Varanasi.
Absolutely a magical city, right? The city of
Yeah,
learning and the city of burning, right? And that's what I
I
would
was
also.
recently there. I was there in the month of February, in the second week maybe, and oh, what a city! I think it is going to call me again and again.
Absolutely, there's always a calling, right, to Varanasi, right, for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
But you have to, you like it the way it is, right? The life on the banks of the river, right, on the ghats. It's there's so many things. You could just spend days and days, to
yeah.
just going and watching the sunrise and the sunset. Not the sunset, but of course the sunrise, which is very popular. But the whole chore which happens so diligently every day on the banks of on the ghats, it's just incredible.
So this is where it was closer to Varanasi. This is a mosque,
Yeah, there's
right?
a place called Mirzapur. I'm sure everybody knows about Mirzapur now because of the Netflix series. One of the
Oh, it
series.
is the same place, is it?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Mirzapur, it's 10 kilometers before Mirzapur. There's a very famous temple called Vindhyachal Temple, named by the Vindhyachal range, the mountain range called Vindhyachal. And very close to the temple, there was this mosque. And the idea of me taking this picture was that, wherever I walked along the banks of the river, wherever there was a population, Hindu population, parallelly, there were always Muslim populations staying together, though we not living in harmony, right? Sometimes the sentiments gets wobbly, but most of the time living next to each other, and that's what India is all about. A secular country where people live in peace and harmony, right? Well, things happen, but most of the time it just we cannot we sometimes you don't like them, but you also want to stay along with them all the time, right? And so
I, after visiting Varanasi, I've kind of mentioned in my kind of small kind of post that I made saying that like India probably is a country where all contradictions coexist.
yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
So, so that's what India is. Uh, who is this guy?
Oh, he's like a mad Bengali, like Pagal Bengali. He would call himself Pagal Bengali. What I think so. A great story, right? This gentleman, I met him in a place called Plassey, where the Battle of Plassey happened, and on there was this little lodge, and they were just building their some rooms for people to stay. And I found him extremely. When I met him, I thought he must be like in a very tough nut, right? Very with his accent, he sounded very rude. But when in the evening I sat and I started to talk to him about, and very interesting gentleman, right? This gentleman worked with some top official from the Secret Service in India, and had lived in the very hostile places like Gawadar. I don't know, a lot of people even know. There's a place called Gawadar, is a port in Pakistan, and he was there. So he was working as a cook, right? And he was in a some hostile areas in the country, in the Maoist region. And I was like, how did, and I couldn't believe first when he told me Gawadar and he told me that's in Pakistan. I'm like, oh yeah, And then he started to share all these stories. He never shared the name of the gentleman who he worked for, but
Mhm.
he spent half of his life with him and then retired and opened up this little restaurant, this little dhaba in Plassey. And when I left, we became literally good friends. And the next morning when I was leaving, He's like, Rajan, in his Bengali accent, Rajan, like, Dada, if anybody troubles you, right, on the way, all the way to Ganga Sagar, you tell them that, Pagal Bengali, right? And, nobody will touch you. And, with that fair, confident, there's something which you see and you just live those moments, right? What an interesting gentleman he was.
So finally, I think here you're going to enter the West Bengal. I just
Yes,
picked up these pictures
that
because I
was,
like the,
yeah,
it's
Ganga
very much
Sagar.
in
Yeah.
action. Yeah, and catching probably a fresh catch from the river. Yeah. Uh,
Oh, yes,
so
saying hello,
when
right?
I
What?
saw Rajan, when I saw this picture, I obviously have a lot of kind of things in my mind, but I said, okay, this can happen only in India.
Absolutely,
Like,
Milind.
like
That's what I
what
think.
you see suddenly a kind of a cow crossing in the middle of the road or on main highway.
Yeah.
Okay, now this guy, I don't know where he is, but
That was
I'm
near
sure
Terry
he's at
Dam
least.
in Uttarakhand, right? Yeah, the gentleman. I'm like, dude, where you are? He's like, yeah, don't worry, I do that every day, right? And trying a man, right, standing on the electric pole with no harness, no security, no safety. He think no helmet, nothing. And he's
I'm
still
still
doing it.
kind of giving you a salute.
Oh yeah, like yeah, I'm all safe, mate.
So finally, you're in the land of Rabindranath Tagore.
Oh yes, some word of wisdom always required in life.
Uh, So,
And
so how many kilometers you had to kind of walk in West Bengal?
uh, that I wouldn't say two. So I would say around 300 kilometers,
Oh,
yeah, 400 kilometers, 400 kilometers. No, actually more
almost
than,
like
yeah.
almost 10 to 14 days probably.
If I may say, yeah, it took me nearly more than 2 weeks actually to cross. Once I got into Farakka, where you get from
Mhm,
Jharkhand into West Bengal, and that's where actually also the river becomes Ganges becomes a tributary, so it becomes the Hooghly, and it
mhm.
enters into Bengal. Sorry, in Bangladesh, where it becomes the
Bangladesh.
Padma. Yeah, the Padma River in Bangladesh. So yeah, it took
And
me
you,
about more than nearly 3 weeks, a bit more than 3 weeks. That
and
was during the
you
Durga
were
Puja.
Durga Puja time, right?
Absolutely, a time to be. That's the
So
Calcutta Brazilian football team, right?
it's a band
It's
right
a
now, isn't
band,
it?
right? Yeah. But look at the jersey, right? And football being such a popular sport in West Bengal, right? I thought it was easy for people to spot them in the crowd, right? That oh, these are the band guys, right? If they get lost. So I thought, yeah, I got everybody together to take a picture, and they were playing band. Of course, how colorful again,
So
right?
this
And
is
now you
all
see only women.
celebration.
You hardly see any men in West Bengal, right? You only see
Yeah.
women around, right? Which also made me feel a bit happy, right? That
Yeah.
yes, women dominate in some part of this country as well. Where they have
This
the
is
equal.
this kind of makes me kind of say that in the entire journey, all stories that you would have would be around people, isn't it?
Oh, while you walk, because when you get up in the morning, it's just the people which make it beautiful, right? When they
Yeah.
share their part of their story, and they listen to my story, and it just the communication, right? And it just makes it special. If imagine just walking by myself, how boring would that be? Isn't it? And
Yeah.
this is what I was when I decided to walk. This is what I was looking forward to meet people, to talk to them, and people with even with the hardship, a smile on their face, to and yeah, that's what made it special. The people of this country make this country special as well.
So Rajan, tell me one experience of yours which was overwhelming.
But there, every day I would say was an experience in itself. And honestly, because when you walk and in the evening you meet people, there's always some story, and it's just too much to remember, right? That what was that. But I would share one. I was overwhelmed with this little kid somewhere in UP in Bulandshahr district, where I saw this little kid and who was trying to buy a short, a pant, like an underwear for him for 20 rupees, right? And how carefully he was like, that I'm spending this 20 rupees, right? And it was only 20 rupees. I could have bought that for him, but I did not want it to hurt his sentiments and his ego, not ego, but that he doesn't have to be dependent. That's where I felt that we could give, right, as citizens of this country, we could do better for people in this country to get, he deserved better life than, where he could, where 20 rupees is nothing, but yeah, that was a bit strong emotion, which really stuck to my head. And I thought, I think so. I would try and do something, and let's along collectively, we can really do a lot of things, which I'm sure I'll share with you in the coming days, right? And I'm sure everybody listening to this as well would play a very important role too.
So this is like your final moment.
That
The
was the
summit,
first
is it?
one. Yeah, this was the one with the, with no shoes, was at the Ganga Sagar on the 26th of October. And the one earlier was when I entered West Bengal. That was at the Farakka Barrage, right? I thought it was a great spot, and and the river was the widest at that point, right? So I thought I should take a picture. But yes, that was finally the end of my
What was
2,500
the span
kilometers.
of the river bank to bank?
Um, I I wouldn't know that. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't remember that. But we couldn't see the other end, so it was more than, must be 8 to 10 kilometers at least, right? Yeah.
So Rajan, I'm kind of going to play a small video that you have shared with me.
Yeah.
Okay. But as the video goes along, because I'm looking at the watch also continuously, I want to kind of ask you one final question from my side before I open up for the audience to kind of come up with their questions. Uh, Tell me, what would you say after doing this, uh, after spending 95 days, your energy, effort, walking for 2,500 kilometers, meeting so many people, and uh, and obviously this is not a walk which somebody would say is exotic in the traditional
No,
sense.
no, it was
Exotic,
no
I mean to
exotic.
say,
It
yeah,
was no exotic.
it is not an exotic walk. Yeah. So, how you would kind of wrap it up, or how you would kind of consider this walk to be? Like
I would say, well,
just
one word, I would say, just say it's an incredible, incredible journey, right? And I'm a very philosophical guy, right? I believe, there was something meant to happen, and Ganges word always kept on coming to my mind because I wanted to drive from India to England, and Ganges and walking the Ganges, and when I started, I wasn't sure that I'll be able to do it. I had no baggage that I have to do it, but when I finished my walk, that the last time I dipped, I took a dip into the river. I did take a dip at the end, not in the beginning, but I did. Absolutely
when it was
incredible.
warm.
It was warm, right? It was warm. Absolutely.
Perfect, perfect. And this video was shot by a couple of your friends, or
A
how?
very,
When
very
was
good,
it?
well, friends of mine who came from Bombay, and they were very excited to do, they thought to do a little documentary. And they did an incredible job for whatever we did for shooting in the first week. And I wish they could have come back on the regular interval, which they did not. I think so. Joel is here. If he's here, he knows that what I'm talking about. But yeah, he did an incredible job. And if you would have made a film, I am sure you could have sold it to Netflix today, right? With the
But I can always suggest you, because many times it so happens that it is very difficult to shoot when it is all live.
yeah.
Uh, you can probably go back and do those shots in between and put it together. Uh, so you will now probably need to stage it typically. Yeah.
Well, I'll still. I told him that, Joe, come on, you did a good job. You could have done something brilliant. But
Mhm.
he's like, oh, why don't you walk again? I'm like, I could walk another river now, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because the way they have kind of done this editing and everything, it's absolutely fabulous, and that's the reason I picked up to kind of that I will show it at the end for a couple of minutes. And for the audience, we will definitely open up for the Q&A session. And what I would suggest is people can type their questions, if any, in the chat box, or raise your hand, and you can interact with Rajan directly. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can kind of ask him directly. It is perfectly fine. Yeah. Well, you just have to raise your hand. Kiran, are you there and are you listening?
Yes, yes, yes. There are a couple of questions already we received in the
I
chat
I
box.
read one. I read one that yes, that did I lose weight? Yes, I lost around 8 kilos, right? Because I was eating very well. I was fed very well on the way, right? Every evening, so I did not lose much. But yes, 8 kilos was still a lot, right? I did lose some weight on the way. Yeah.
So probably people have also raised their hands. So I think Kiran, you should coordinate on that.
Yeah. So Mr. Dr. Rajesh Sangvi is there.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Well done, Rajan. I am
thank you
so
very much.
thrilled, so impressed. We are into cycling, Rajan. Is it possible to do cycling? And what patch can we do? I don't think we can do from Gomukh to what you did. But how far can we cycle around Ganges or by the side of Ganges?
See, we don't. That's a good question because to cycle along the Ganges is not possible, right? You could only the only stretch we can cycle parallelly to the Ganges would be from Patna, all the way from Patna into Jharkhand, right, till Sahibganj. But after that, the Ganges, the closest I was few meters away, and the furthest I was to the Ganges was around 16 kilometers. I think the Jharkhand is an amazing state because the roads are beautiful, the landscapes are really nice as well. So that is a good region to explore for cycling. I would suggest, right? I think of, right, if you want to do some cycling tours.
Thank you.
Yeah,
No, there are
Miss
more places
Hiru
I
is
can
here.
talk about more I can talk about more cycling places, but we could connect other time, right? Yeah, but on the entire trip, because I was not walking on the main road, right? Only on some patches, so I was walking through the countryside. So in the countryside, of course, there are no roads, right? So so it would be difficult to cycle. But from Patna, as I said, from Patna, the river is just flows along the parallelly to the road, right? So from Patna all the way into Jharkhand, you can just that would be a good place to
So,
cycle along.
how many kilometers will it be roughly?
Oh, it would be good around 200-300 kilometers from there. At
Okay,
least 200
okay, that's
kilometers.
good. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, next is
Yeah,
Miss
Kiran, next.
Hiru. Miss Hiru.
Yeah, so thank you, Milind and Rajan. Just share with us some of the food you ate along the way, and did you end up eating and sleeping in people's homes most of the times?
I would say like out of 95 days, I would say 15 days, 15 nights I would have spent in people's houses, right? Because they invited me to come.
50 or 15?
50 days.
And otherwise on the road?
No, not 50. Wait, let me just quickly. I think it's around, I would say like 20 days, right? You could say 20 days on the entire trip where people invited me to the house and gave me a bed.
And balance 75 days?
I slept in ashrams because, as I said, there were a lot of ashram temples along the banks of the river. And there's always a priest in the temple, and you tell him that you're walking the Ganges River. And I got to know that it's like a parikrama of what every Hindus have to do once in their lifetime. So when you tell them that you're walking the Ganges River, oh, they would be super awe and like, okay, please, arrange a bed and dinner for you at night. So yeah, most of the time it was in ashram. In big city, in whatever city I could find in the mountains, I stayed in the hotels, but there's hotels everywhere along. In the plains, in the smaller cities, wherever I could find a lodge, I managed to stay in lodges, and I treated myself with some opulent hotels in Calcutta. Like I'm stayed at the Taj, right? I thought let me give myself some luxury for a night. Yeah, so all kind of accommodation. You see, it wasn't anything planned. It was before the sunset, I would see wherever it's a safe place to sleep. If I'm in a village and there's a temple there, I would just go to the temple, keep my bag there, and people will automatically would come and ask me, oh, what are you doing? So somebody would be like, okay, let me should we, well, you're hungry, so we'll get you some dinner. Somebody would volunteer to get me something, so yeah, that made me going as well. Yeah. So food wasn't a challenge at all.
Super. Thank you.
I think Kiran, Sushma.
Yeah, next is
you go
Sushma.
by your choice. Yeah.
Sushma. Hi, Sushma, you there? I think.
Hello,
Yeah.
Rajan, can you
Hi,
hear?
Raj. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You said that you crossed Rajaji National Park. Did you encounter any wildlife? And any
what?
point of the journey?
I-
Another question. Were you
Okay.
scared? And did you suffer from any fatigue? 3 questions there. Wildlife, were you scared any time of the journey? And did you suffer from fatigue?
First, being scared, right? In the beginning, it gives you like, you ask yourself, right? Are you sure you want to do this? And are you be able to do it? So, I went with the mindset that in case I don't have to prove it to anybody, right? If I'm not able to do it, I'll come back home, right? I'll make a phone call, I'll take a bus, I'll come back to Delhi. But when I got into the mountains, right, there is some spirit, there's some energy there, right? And honestly, there was situation where I could have slipped and I could have fallen into the river and I could have been dead. Because I was going up the mountain and down, crossing the river, going up the mountain again, doing that, probably hundreds of mountains. But not even once, I thought there's somebody protecting me. Honestly, I'm not a spiritual guy and I'm not a religious person. But whenever I said, and everybody was Bhole, so I'm like, Baba Bhole, bacha lena, matlab, just, honestly, and nothing happened. All the way from Gomukh till Ganga Sagar, I wasn't scared at all. Like, no. And I was physically fit as well. So I thought, I could really handle if anybody would come to me. Why would somebody come to me? And what I had nothing to lose, right? No, not at all. Not being scared of humans, no way. Encounter, right? Very good question again, because I did. When you cross Rajaji National Park, this is one straight road, and there were like hundreds and thousands of monkeys, sitting by the roadside. That's where I got a bit scared, like with the monkeys. But I had a backpack, right? And my backpack, and I was walking. So the monkeys, they had their little monkeys, they're the little ones, right? And clutching onto their mother. So whenever they saw me walking, they would run to their mother, and the mother would look at me. But even I thought, they would also think maybe he's a bigger monkey, right? Because I have a backpack, so maybe my backpack was like a baby. So they thought he's carrying his baby at the back, right? So the mother did not feel scared. So I did not look into the eyes, but I was walking very close to them. And honestly, not even one monkey who tried to harass me, right? So they thought he's a bigger monkey and with his baby, so we should not, that is, so that's true. And wildlife, I saw a big owl. I have never seen that big owl, probably 1 meter tall owl.
Wow.
Never seen that. And just for like 3 seconds, I saw a bobcat in the wild. I had a little snake trying to sneak into my backpack, and the monkeys, of course. Apart from that, no, not much of a wildlife. In Rajaji National Park, no, yeah.
And fatigue?
Fatigue twice on the way, I think so, because it rained and then I was walking in the sun. But because I was sweating so much and I was eating, I was being very careful, and I was eating a lot of sweets, right? I was drinking, I was eating sweets, so just to keep my sugar level up, right? And that's the only time when I felt like, twice, only for a few hours, but no, on the way, I was pretty healthy. I was fine.
Great. Thank you.
Sushma, let me say hello to you over the Zoom.
Hi, Milind. Do it in part, not continuously like Rajan. I'll be in for countryside doing this part-wise journey.
Chat later. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The next is Mr. Gaurav Mohile.
Yeah, hello, hi Rajan.
Hi, Gaurav.
Yeah, I want to ask you, so what percentage of your journey was planned? Means, was it completely planned? And if it was planned, how extent you could stick to your plan?
There was nothing planned. Honestly, there was nothing.
Okay.
The only plan was that on the 21st of July, I would leave Delhi. 22nd, I would stay in Uttarkashi, and 23rd, I would start my walk from 23rd. I'll start my walk from Gomukh. And I had given myself 3.5 to 4 months, because that was the time when I had figured it out that I had done my work. There were people in my office who could take care of things, so I wasn't really required. And I had said to a lot of my clients that I'm doing this work, so I would be away. So, but anyway, I'll be connected. And luckily, nobody called up as well. So no, nothing planned. I just went with the flow that I'm just walking along, right? And whatever would come on the way, I'll.
So in that case, did it ever happen that it is evening time and you don't have any villages around?
Well, yes, I told you that once I was when I crossed into from border of Uttarakhand and UP, there was no villages. There was this little tiny stall where I asked them that can I stay, and it was raining, and So this was one time, but most of the time while I was walking, I could, before the sunset, if I see a village and by the banks of the river, I would try and stop there, right? And
Okay.
just to be safe aside. But sometimes it has been night, and but I managed. I managed something where I could stay for a night.
Sure, great. And what's your Instagram handle?
Rajan underscore Durbeen. That's my company, and Rajan underscore Durbeen is mine personal
Okay.
one, and Durbeen, you could say look at Durbeen. But if you
Okay.
want to look at the pictures of walking, of my walk, you can check out Walking the Ganges, right?
Okay.
Kiran, next.
Okay. So next is
We need
Jayu
to keep a
Doshi.
watch.
Jayu Doshi. Jayu Bhai.
Yeah, hi Kiran.
Yes, yes,
How
sir.
are you?
Hi,
Yes.
Mr. Doshi.
Yeah. Basically, there were two questions. One, which was the best point or the place that you will remember for years together? This question is from my wife. She told, मैं बहुत चल नहीं पाऊंगी तो एक point ऐसा पूछ लो पहले कि उधर तो जाना ही है.
Up in the mountains. I'm a travel advisor by profession, right? For me,
Yeah.
I look from a different eye. For me, everything is beautiful, honestly. But if
Right.
you, for the beauty, nature, I think so. When it comes from the plains, the mountain is always very exciting, right? There's a surrounding. It depends, right? Whether you want to be in the mountains, whether you want to be in the city, what kind of surrounding you want. Like, for
Yeah.
me, like Calcutta is an amazing city, really amazing city, one of my favorites in the country. Varanasi, again, has its own charm. Kanpur, dirty, but there are some spots of Kanpur which are just amazing, right? Allahabad, my God, the fort in Allahabad and the story, right? The cathedral in Allahabad is just so beautiful, right? I'm talking about these cities. Nature-wise, I think so. While walking in Jharkhand as well, where it was so green and you had small hills, right? And it just added so much of character. Even the Sagar Island, actually, if she wants to walk, she could walk on the Sagar Island from beginning to the end. And what a beautiful island it is, right? And a nice road, 30 kilometers. That would be, yeah, if she wants to walk, not on the entire journey, but on this thing, if she can go to Sagar Island, cross,
Yeah.
take a ferry, and 30 kilometers of walk, that would be beautiful for her.
Great.
Kiran,
Another small question was,
yeah.
I don't know how much spiritual you are, but 95 days walking with a holy river, and of course we are Indians, so we believe in that. What spiritual changes did you experience in yourself by doing this walk?
For me,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what was the spiritual changes in yourself that you experienced before and after?
honestly, Mr. Doshi, I am still the same person who loves life, who likes to have a drink with his friends in the evening, who loves to travel. Nothing, but honestly, I believe that there is something in me which has changed. It's like now I think I was born to do something like that because it's my role to play now. It was all taking. While I was walking, I was given everything, right? People invited me, people gave me food, people. So everything was like, it's like giving, taking away. Now, when I realize now, I feel that it's my time to
Yeah.
give back, right? When we say we don't need to build more things, we just need to fix what is broken, I believe in, right? So in my perspective, and this is what my life is going to be about, that in whatever small way I could make a change, if whatever I saw on the way would make my life more meaningful. And I have worked on different projects which I will share someday, and I hopefully small projects, right? But it's all about, I think so, my time is about giving back, right? I can live anywhere on the planet, right? I can talk and I can be happy and people would feed me. So I know that I don't need money to live,
Right.
but I need to make a living so that I give it back, right? To make a change in the society where it's required. And
Humanity.
this is honesty, by honest, from my heart, right?
Right.
And also you got to read a book called again, there's also a story behind it, because when I came back from my walk, and a lot of people told me, my friends, like, great achievement, why don't you write a book? And I did not feel that, there's something extraordinary which I did, honestly. So I was in Khan Market, if anybody, it's in the center of Delhi, and there was this bookstore very close to my house. And I luckily I had a friend of mine. She wanted to buy something, so I went into the bookstore and I saw a gentleman signing his own book. And I
Mhm.
thought I peeped into the book, and it was like The Twice Born, and it's a book written by Atish Taseer, and he's a very famous writer, born to a Pakistani father. His father was the governor of Punjab in Pakistan, and mother was Talveen Singh, and she's a very prominent journalist. If you look out, Atish Taseer wrote this book, The Twice Born. About life and religion on the banks of river Ganges, right in Varanasi, and that's what something like just suddenly changed, like the twice born, like every coin has two sides. So walking the Ganges was one side of the coin, right? And the twice born, I felt that, I really felt that, like, why I have to be here, right? And why I meet this gentleman. And I told Atish, I mean, like, I just walked the Ganges River, and he was so impressed. And he wrote like to Rajan, who knows it all, and signed. And I told him I'll give him my honest feedback. But he's now lives in America because, again, some government issue, political thing. But again, coming back to the point, was twice born, and so it just like everything just connects, right? It was like a connection, and of course, my life is good, and of course, there's no work, but I feel now very strongly believe that I would like to do and will make a change, whatever I could, and everything begins from yourself, and then it becomes from your family, and then it's from the village. So I started to do certain small things in my village. Let me see how far could I go, but I believe in myself and do it, right? So this is
Kiran, how many more people?
Next is the last one is Mr. Suresh Gupta.
Yes, Dr. Sureshi, good evening to
Hello.
you. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you. Thank you,
Good to
Rajan,
see
for an
you.
amazing program. Yeah,
lovely to
I
see
am
you.
Shiva Bhakt, and I've had the pleasure of going to Kailash with Milind. I'm much older than you, and I wanted to do this journey, but realistically, which are the you probably answered this question the best. Which are the best parts of an easy part for me to do without actually having to walk, which is impossible for me.
Without you don't want to walk, or you don't want to walk, or you want to walk.
I don't want to walk. I want to be able to share some of the experiences without having to walk that much of a distance.
Well, you could literally drive everywhere, except I think so from Gangotri on the entire trip, you could just drive, you don't have
Yeah,
to. So, there are once from Gangotri, you could do every 50, 100, 200, you can do like 100 kilometers. You can stop in place,
right.
different spots, like you can stop in Dev Prayag, right? Where,
Yeah, I've been all those. Yeah,
oh, you've
I've
done,
been to
okay.
yeah, I've been to
So,
Badrinath and Kedarnath. Yes, I've
okay,
been
so
there.
you could
Thank
do
and
in the
Sagar.
play in the Ganga Sagar. I
Wonderful.
said Ganga Sagar, or
Absolutely.
even Jharkhand, like Sahibganj is such a beautiful place, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and from
Wonderful. Definitely.
Sahibganj, so you can drive, and just the tribal people, they're just amazing. See people, until unless you go out, you venture out, to what do you see? Sometimes it's like that's hoax, right? People say people are different. No, it's like we are humans, right? We have to go and interact, right? And then when the real human nature comes out, right? And I
Yes.
think so even Jharkhand is such a beautiful state to travel to, and the roads are amazing, so you could drive there.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
yep,
Thank you so much. I hope to meet you
Perfect.
in Delhi sometime. Okay. Yes.
absolutely, sure, right?
Yes.
Why
Yeah.
not,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
I think, Kiran, are we
Thank you.
done with the Q&A?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
So I'm
Rajan,
just
I would
sharing
like to kind of
Rajan's Insta handle on the chat. If anyone wants to
do
follow
that.
him,
Yeah.
Yeah, do that. Yep.
yeah.
And so, Rajan, absolutely a pleasure kind of interacting with you. And I'm sure that I would like to kind of interact many more times so that we'll pull out more stories from you. And as I said earlier, probably over a drink at times, somewhere in Delhi, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you
Yes.
happen to come down to Bombay, you're most welcome
Yes.
to join me at my
Yes.
house. Yeah.
Yes.
So again, thank you very much. And I'm sure everyone has enjoyed. Thank you to everyone who has joined this show. And I'm sure they have enjoyed. I've already received a couple of messages on the WhatsApp. Yeah. So I'm sure everybody has thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. So before closing, thank you again to everyone, and I hope I can do 1 or 2 more sessions during this lockdown once again with some interesting people around. Yeah.
Thank you, Milind. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Milind.
you.
Thank
And
you,
Kiran,
everybody,
hope you
for
have
being.
recorded everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No worries.
Thank you, Milind.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thanks,
Bye.
thanks,
Bye.
Rajan.